So the main thing we're doing on this is we have to figure out our independent and our dependent. So, given this question, what are your independent and dependent quantities? After they arrived, Eduardo was curious about how many miles per gallon their car got on the trip. So I am going to write X, which is my independent, and I am going to write Y, which is my dependent. And then I'm going to decide what is my independent and what is my dependent. Okay, the easiest thing to look at to find out what your independent is so you don't get confused on this is read the end sentence. Usually there's like a big paragraph. But here, Eduardo was curious about how many miles per gallon. You're wanting it for one item. Okay? So per gallon. So my independent is number of gallons. My dependent is number of miles. Now it says, write the ordered pairs of 2 points that you could use to answer this question. Well, they only give us one. If I know my independent is number of gallons, don't I have 80 gallons? It tells me that in my table. And if my dependent, my Y, is number of miles, I know my number of miles is 2,600. So now, how about we use, if I go 0 miles, how many gallons am I going to use? 0. Now, we are now going to set this up where we can work it. It is your choice whether you use the slope formula or whether you do delta y over delta x. But I'm going to set this up as a table because this will also help you on your Friday work. On one of your assignments, one of your IXLs, they're giving you 2 ordered pairs, and you're going to have to find the slope and y-intercept. Okay? So I need to make this into a table. I know this is gallons, and this is miles. And I am now just going to rewrite those in a table form. This is what you'll want to do on your work on Friday. So do you see how easy that is to put in table form? We'll actually do the rest of them in table form instead of writing an order pair then a table. Now, you're used to doing this. This is on your test tomorrow. You can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or you can do your delta y over delta x. Totally your option. So if you did y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, that's what you get. So go ahead and work that out. Totally your option which way you go. If you do this way, you can automatic throw it in your calculator as in alpha y equal or alpha xto, and it is going to reduce it for you. What did you get? Okay, now are you going to say, it says how many miles per gallon did their car get on the road trip? Would you say I got 65 over 2 gallons, miles per gallon? What would you say?
32.
Good. You change it to a decimal to make it make sense. you're going to see right here, they're making us go step by step by step by step. When we go to 3-2, you're going to see we're just going to do all this in one statement. Now, look at the next problem. It is talking about the same information, but this time the family wants to know how many gallons of gas they would average for each mile of the trip. So I need to find, are y'all okay to put I for independent and a D for dependent? Okay, make sure you write that by that so you know that's what you're doing. So now as I read this, what would my independent be? For each mile. Wouldn't my independent be number of miles? You're looking for the each, the per, or one. And my dependent this time will be number of gallons. So look at how that last one was asked when it was flip-flopped. It said, he was curious about how many miles per gallon their car would get. Do you see this one says how many gallons of gas used for each mile? Do you see why your letters have changed? Okay. So now we're going to write the equation. Let's just do it as a table to save ourselves time. We have miles and gallons. We know we are writing an order pair in there because the left-hand sides are X, the right-hand sides are Y. So if we go 0 miles, how many gallons did we use? 0. But now wait, I'm going 2,600 miles. How many gallons did I use? So you're going to see this is going to give us two totally different answers. So you have to know every time what you're independent and what you're dependent, or you'll get the wrong answer. Determine the rate of change. So find your rate of change, which is the same thing as your slope. So you can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or you can do delta y over delta x, totally your option. Are we going to leave it as a fraction when we get our answer? No, because it doesn't make sense. So how many gallons per mile? 0.03. Okay, remember, if you're doing this, 80 goes on top. Your change in Y over change in X. Right then and there, I know my answer's got to be less than 1, right? And that actually goes down here also. You could have shown your work on C. Okay, if the family had flown, now this isn't an independent or dependent, they just want to figure out if the family had flown, they would have traveled 2,100 miles and spent $3,250 for tickets alone. Compare the cost per mile for flying and driving. So, for flying, it was $3,250 for a 2,100 mile flight. How do I figure out how much it is per mile? I'm going to divide $3,250 by 2,100 miles. I need to figure out how much it is per mile. Okay, we're talking about money. Okay, look at the third number because we need to round it to the nearest cent. If it's 5 or above, we got to give it a shove. How much was it? You're not just sitting here waiting on me to answer. Y'all are correct, $1.55. Remember, your grade today is participating because we're doing notes all period. Now, what if we drive instead? What was my cost in driving? Let's look back at our table. What was my cost in driving? It was what? $200, right? And how many total miles did we go? 2,600, good, or 2,600. So if I spend $200 and went 2,600 miles, don't say it out loud, but figure out how much it is per mile. How much was it per mile? 8 cents. Be way cheaper to drive, right? But you'll get there a lot faster if you fly. Okay, 3-2. Now it's not going to be a step by step by step. We're going to do everything in one area. So, just a reminder up here where it says identify the independent, write I, so you know that's what we are having to find first. And that's always our X in our table. Then we're going to do D for dependent, and that's always our Y. Now, I'm telling you, read the last question or statement first, and that will help you find your independent. What is the cost per number of toppings for a large pizza? What is your per on this? Toppings. Do you see that? Per is number of toppings. So I know that is my X, so I'm going to go over here to my table, and I'm going to go ahead and set that up. On your work tomorrow, there are only 7 questions, but there are 21 answers because you have to pick the independent, you have to pick the dependent, and then you have to find the rate of change. Okay? So if you get these wrong, it's going to count you points off, so you've got to be careful with that. Okay, what is your dependent? The cost. Or could you put a $sign? Yes. Okay, a pizzeria charges $9 for a large pizza. Okay, so I know the cost. How many toppings are on that? Do I know how many toppings are on a $9 pizza? No. Because there's none, just cheese. If they don't tell you, it's going to be 0. Then he ordered a 3 topping, and we know the cost is $12.60. So it is your choice whether you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or if you do delta y delta x. Find the rate of change. Go. Okay, be careful. We're not subtracting across this way. It's y over x. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. says quit above mode, so it's blue, so you've gotta hit blue that. Two different, don't hold them down. So hit the blue, and then hit mode. Hit it again, blue, mode. How much is it per topping? $1.20 per topping. Don't just put 0.2. You would not say you owe 1.2 per topping. You'd say $1.20 per topping. Number 2, let's read the question so I can find my independent and my dependent. At what rate is the maintenance crew paving the road in miles per shift? What is my independent? Shift. Per shift. And then miles is my dependent. Okay, I have 10 shifts is 1.25 miles of road, and 45 shift is 5.625. You're finding your slope or your rate of change. So that's good practice for your 3 tables on the bottom of your test tomorrow. How many miles per shift do you get done? 0.125. This is not talking about money, so you have to write what you get. Okay, because we didn't get 0.13 miles done. Got it? So that's why you wouldn't want to round that. Okay. She bakes, oh, let's read the question. At what rate does she bake breakfast rolls for each hour? What is your independent? Hours. What is your dependent? Rolls, and it's dozen rolls, but we'll just write rolls. So we have hours and rolls, and I know I need to get the answer for dozen rolls per hour. Dozen rolls per hour. So if I have 3 hours, how many breakfast rolls do I have?
36.
How many dozen? 15. There's not a 36 in there, If I work 8 hours, how many dozen breakfast rolls am I making? 40. We're using the numbers in the thing right in front of you.
Well, I thought you said dozen rolls per hour.
That's not 36. That's 3 and 15. Don't listen to your neighbor.
Miss, is that an 8?
Mm-hmm. Read your things. It says 8 hours or 40. You don't have to look at mine because I don't even have to write it. Well, how many hours is 40 rolls? Oh, you answered your own question. Okay, figure out your rate of change. Look, so now it's practice and test. I don't want to confuse you. That's funny. I didn't even think about that like that when I wrote this. We're figuring out how many dozen rolls per hour. It's not 36.
I don't know about that, but come on, man, come on.
How many dozen rolls are we making per hour? 5. Perfect. Okay, X for our independent, Y for our dependent. What is the average weight loss per week? What is your independent? Weeks. What is your dependent? Weight loss. So we have weeks, then we have weight loss. Poor dog. He is 149 pounds at 8 weeks old. It's a big puppy. And at 13 weeks, he weighs 134 pounds. We're trying to find the weight loss per week.
Is it 3?
Hold on, I have some people still writing. What'd you get?
-3.
So I would need to put -3 weight loss per week because we know it's a loss. So 3, and you could say 3 pounds per week lost, however you want to write that. 3 pounds of weight lost per week. Okay, you are skipping to number 6, and you are going to work number 6. Number 6. So all 7 of your problems will work like this tomorrow. what is my independent? Guys, what does this say? Per hour. That's my independent.
But is your independent was on the left?
Yes, because that's the X. And remember in your table it goes X and Y.
Would the dependent be driving?
Or miles. But do you see you're looking for that per in that last sentence, and that is your independent. Make sure you label those. Part of your question tomorrow, you're gonna have to say what the independent is. You're gonna have to say what the dependent is. Everybody agree? Okay, so if we set this up, we should have 4 hours, 34,567 miles, 7 hours, 34,741 miles, and we need it miles per hour. And he is correct, 58. Perfect. You can close your iPad. We might have time to work on work here in a minute. You're going to get the paper out of the green folder. And we are going to work a few of these. You're going to see some of these are like the, how much is it per item? And you're going to see some of these are independent, dependent. So my first one is an independent. This is why we always write our X and our Y so we remember what's what. Determine the time it makes Ellen to takes Ellen to make one bracelet. What is my independent? Bracelets. Do you see? One. I want it per item each. I want it one bracelet. So I know whatever it's going to say per bracelet. And then the other would be hours. So she made 12 bracelets on Monday. Do we know how many hours she worked? No, so that's just going to be 0. On Tuesday, she worked an additional 2.5. So we know she at least worked 2.5 hours and made 22 bracelets. So we need to figure out how long it took her per bracelet. did it take her per bracelet? So 0.25, that would be hours. How do I figure out what that is in minutes? 0.25 hours would be how many minutes? How many minutes are in an hour?
60.
60. So we're going to multiply by 0.25. 60 times 0.25. And it's 15 minutes per bracelet. So if they did not have it in hours, you would need to be able to figure out how many minutes that was. Okay, number 2, you do not need to do independent and dependent. Let's just read this one. The organizer of a festival expects 10,000 people to attend over 4 days. At the end of the festival, the organizers say that they exceeded their expectation attendance by 2,000 people. What does exceeded mean?
Over.
It went over, so that's going to add. How many people showed to the festival?
12,000.
12,000. And how many days was it?
4 days.
So how many people per day?
3,000.
3,000. So do you see why you didn't have to figure that one as independent, dependent? You won't have any like that on your tomorrow. All of them are independent and dependent. 3, independent, dependent. Go ahead and solve number 3. What's your independent? Hours, good. I want to make sure we have that right. And what's your dependent? Batches. Because it says per hour. And how many batches did you bake per hour?
2.
Yes. Okay, number 4 is just a normal figure it out. It is not an independent dependent. Jamal sells photographs at an art festival. The festival is open 6 hours each day for 3 days. At the conclusion of the festival, Nelson sold 54 photographs. At the average number of photographs, determine the average number of photographs Jamal sold per hour. How many hours did was Jamal at the festival? For 3 days. How many hours was Jamal? So he was there 6 hours for 3 days. So 6 times 3, he was there a total of 18 hours. How many photographs did he sell?
54.
And if he sold sold 54 in 18 hours,
3.
how many did he sell per hour?
3.
Does everyone agree?
No. Just because it's here.
Oh. Okay, buddy.
Yes, 3 per hour.
Freaking smart, you.
Okay, number 5 is an independent dependent. Work it out. Okay, what is my independent?
Ticket.
Tickets. So I know that's written on my X. My dependent.
Cost.
Cost or money. Okay. So 10 game tickets was $19.50. 15 game tickets was
$23.25.
$23.25. How much was it per ticket?
0.75.
Cheap tickets. Per ticket. Okay, you figure out if this is a dependent or independent and solve it. Is it an independent dependent? No. John plans on a hiking trip. The trail he would be taking to follow is 7.5 miles long. He plans to start his hike at 10 a.m. and he hopes to reach the end of the trail by 3 p.m. How many hours is he going to be on the trail?
5.
5. How long is the trail?
7.5 miles.
So we're trying to figure out what is the average number of miles per hour? How much? 1.5 miles per hour.
Miss, how does it feel to be
teaching a living genius.
I don't know, I've never done that